Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Hearthstone. So we have a quest now where we need to play as the mage, so I'm just going to make a custom deck for the mage. We're going to get rid of custom druid and make a new deck for custom mage. And we just want the easiest things like that we can do. So I'm going to take all the mage cards that are the lowest cost and throw them all in here. It doesn't matter if we win. Take that because that'll make spells cheaper. And we're good. There we go. Done. Back. Play. The one thing I've realized here, there's a lot of one things, I use that phrase too much, is because they've added these 35 new quests, what they've really done is they've stopped the watch and learn quests. Like the free pack, play with a friend and get 80, and the watch and learn things have happened a lot less than they were happening before then. So that is a tricky way in which they took something away effectively. Maybe they're still in the mix, but they're definitely weighted less just by there being more variety, if not that they've actually been heavily weighed so they won't happen. I'm gonna get rid of these two. Again, I need to say that I'm not feeling great right now. Not up to the weather. Feel like I have a cold. Going back and forth between turning my fan on high and low. Medium does not work when recording because it causes my ceiling fan to vibrate. And it vibrates a cheap motor in it, I suppose. Like a two-stage motor that wasn't balanced or designed for a third stage, for a middle stage in there. So it causes it to vibrate, which causes the chain to rattle on there, and maybe I could do something about that. So I could just turn the fan to medium, which is what I want it to be at. But yeah, I'm going back and forth with a remote on it to say put it in. Turn it off or put it in low mode because I'm too cold, and then I'm saying now I'm hot because I'm probably running a fever.
Someday I'll be just like you.
So I'm miserable either way. Let's see. And I don't have a lot to talk about, so I think this very well may be the end of this recording. I was talking about how to make a budget because I have no clue, although I think I may have thought of a decent concept there. I wonder. So that's something to work with there, although the numbers are kind of just made up. And the thing about making a budget for yourself is you can actually make a budget for yourself versus working for companies where regardless of what they say, unless you really can trust the accounting department, you have to go over budget every year to make sure you maintain the budget, and then you still may get fired because you went over budget. It's a silly system. But they'll cut your funding if you're under budget, and they'll not give you more funding ever. It's just cheap stuff. I really wish in general corporations weren't so greedy. It's really ridiculous. All corporations are just huge, vile ooze of greed. I'm trying to be theatrical here and descriptive, but I mean, that's all it is. It's stated in their charter. We're here to make as much money as possible. We're here to get our stocks up by making as much money as possible. We want as much money as possible. I wish people could just have a private company. I think the whole stock market system is just too dangerous of a form of gambling, and it leads to outside motivators that shouldn't exist in corporations. And it should just be, we want a moderate amount of income every year. If we make a little extra good, we'll save it for next year. If we make a little less than we thought we were, that's fine, because we've got we have the extra from the previous year. Oops.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
Sadly, I think the only way that would ever really happen is if if the United States or the world or whatever country had just hard limits on income, like 100% tax over being a billionaire, just something along that lines where it says doesn't matter how much you made after a certain point, because after a certain point it just all goes to the government, and then ideally the government will take that money and either help out the needy or something. But if you told Walmart they could only make $1 billion a year, well then all of a sudden they're like, would be able to say, well, we just need to now treat our customers better and make our stores nicer, so people always come and spend that $1 billion worth of sales. We don't have to wait. We don't need to go squeeze our suppliers and tell them that we need them to sell us these items for cheaper than what we had agreed upon before. You can really change the mentality of a corporation when they're not having to focus completely on profit, or at least that would be my hope. Of course, I'm sure there's ways to cheat around that, and one of the easiest ways you could allow people to cheat around that is they could just pay their employees more. So if they make $5 billion in gross, then they have to pay out $4 billion to the employees, just because otherwise it's just going to taxes anyways. And ironically, I think for a short time, corporations probably still would be more willing to put $4 billion towards taxes than towards 100% tax of being super rich than pay their employees, because they wouldn't want to have to cut their employees' wages later and lose employees. But I think as things got more normalized and this plan worked, hopefully it would work, you would see wages go up slowly but surely.
Jaina versus
Of course, that's economics and has nothing to do with video games, but there's very little video games to talk about here. Like, Watch Dogs 2 has this leaked trailer inside the game for a new IP, or at least that's what people think. Honestly, it doesn't seem like that's what that is. To me, it seems like this is them trying to push Watch Dogs 2, which I hear is an alright game, but it's kind of just a Assassin's Creed game set in modern time, like Watch Dogs 1, but actually it kind of looks more like GTA. And then we had Mafia 3 come out recently too, but Mafia 3 kind of sold. Video games right now are just not selling very well at all.
Job's done.
The huge drought we suffered before, if they had gotten games released during that time, would have spread it out people's budgets a lot better. So yeah, Watch Dogs 2 looks good. Seems like you could probably skip playing Watch Dogs 1 and just get into the 2. It looks like it's a big city area though, and you're gonna do a lot of driving around, a lot of hacking, a lot of stuff like that. Much like my attempts to do an accelerated Assassin's Creed, if I was gonna play it, I would try to have an accelerated experience there too, and not go crazy with the collectibles or anything like that. Surprised I'm winning here, but yeah, that trailer just does a bunch of space station stuff, and like with No Man's Sky, I think somebody said they were going to work on trying to fix No Man's Sky a little bit and
Excuse me,
have it have more of the things that they're talking that they were saying it was going to have, but it's kind of spacey like No Man's Sky, and that's going to be an issue. And we're talking Ubisoft here, and I don't think there is a space. It could be maybe a prequel for Dead Space. That would be an interesting thing, but honestly, I think it's just was a gag, and there is no game related to it. There was nothing super interesting in it. The difference between this trailer and a trailer I believe is the fact that it would have something interesting to catch your eye. So imagine the Prey 2 or the Prey trailer. Yes, it's not called Prey 2, it's just called Prey again, because they're just using the same name to retell a new story.
Right away.
It has no relation to Prey. But imagine that you've got this guy in this bright red suit. He's getting up every morning, drinking his coffee. He's looking in the mirror. He's checking his eye, and then it happens again, and then it happens again, and then his eye gets more bloodshot and more bloodshot. And there's some other trailers that came out too that showed some, and there's some intrigue there. There's a display of the character. There's something happening. The trailer I see in Watch Dogs 2 is just pictures of space stations. Simple geometric space stations that don't feel like they've been textured enough. They don't look like they're that thought out or good. They look like very simplistic basic things. Something they would have had an intern do, or somebody else just in their free time would have done. There's no characters shown, there's no details revealed, there's nothing that would have caught any player's attention and made them think, oh, that's something I want to know more about. So I just don't feel it doesn't feel like a director would direct that as a trailer of anything. And it's not really leaked or anything, it's in the game. What is really leaked, and I didn't read the full story, so I may be wrong, but it seems like it may have been leaked through some revealings of the voice actor strike. Telltale has this secret Marvel game for Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, let's think about this for a second. I kind of want Telltale to slow down, but this might be slowed down. This might be like coming out in 3 or 4 years. But I wanted them to slow down. I wanted them to improve their engine. I wanted to rethink what they're doing and the DLC and selling incomplete games and having 5 different writers tell the story. For a Marvel game in particular, they have that opportunity to again not have different writers. Like Minecraft Story Mode is the most recent game that they've done. They've announced Walking Dead Season 3, which I'm hoping that's good, but I'm not super certain it will be.
Cast a spell. I want to cast a spell.
So I could see maybe on Season 3 that might give them some indications. Now, Guardian of the Galaxies, I didn't watch the movie. I'm so far behind on Marvel movies. I'm really just where I just watch other people review movies when they come out, and I have little interest in actually watching things myself.
So fun.
But yeah, I haven't watched Guardian of the Galaxy, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of this comedic action movie. So, do I think Telltale can do comedy? Yes, I believe Telltale can do comedy. Do I think it can do action? No, I do not believe it can do action. Not in a million years. Not on that Telltale game engine. They would have to make a completely different style of game. The last time they tried to do anything that was slightly action-based was Jurassic Park the game, and that was a nightmare of a mess. And so
the great outdoors.
Spells are fun. So fun.
So, yeah, I don't know how they can tell a tale there. I don't know what story happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something about Star-Lord's father, because he's supposed to be somebody important, and they just do a prequel before any of the Guardians of the Galaxy show up. But if they did that, I don't know why then you could
Just like you.
fairly classify that as
I don't have enough mana.
as a Guardians of the Galaxy show.
Trouble?
Spells are fun. So fun.
So yeah, I don't know what Telltale can do with that. I want Telltale to just slow down and make good games every time. In a strange way, they are the fast version of Bethesda. Bethesda makes slow games that aren't that good, but they're fun enough to play. Where Telltale makes fast games that are coming out at very rapid paces that aren't that good, but they're fun enough to play. The problem is neither one of these companies are consistently coming out with good games, which is a problem.
So fun.
That if Bethesda has to take 8 years to make a good game, so be it. If Telltale has to take 4 years to make a good game, so be it. I'd rather there be quality. Because 10 years from now, almost certainly, or let's see, 30 years from now, because 30 years ago was the NES games, and we're getting the NES Classic Retro as a good example of this. Nostalgia-wise, the games for the NES, things like Mario Brothers, well, I think Mario Brothers is an exception. Things like Star Tropics,
I wonder.
which by today's standards is really not a good game. The Legend of Zelda, in all honesty, is not what we would consider a good RPG by today's standards.
Trouble?
Punch Out is really just this rhythm game with not enough to it. Super Mario, not Mario, Super Mario, but Mario Brothers, the arcade game, isn't a very fun game at all. Donkey Kong is very barely a fun game.
Excuse me, you are on fire.
When you compare it to 30 years ago, a lot of these games don't stand up. And that has hit home because I have certainly thought about, oh, I've got some nieces and nephews that might enjoy playing those games. And they're young enough that they probably haven't seen too much better, so they might try it. But in reality, no, they'd get bored of it. They'd go play on the iPads. So, plus, I don't think I want to hurt their hands. Literally, I literally would be concerned of holding the old NES controller and hurting their hands because of holding the controller. That didn't work very well. So yeah, I'm certainly not getting any of the NES Retro. So 30 years from now, are we going to remember half of Telltale's games? Are we going to remember Minecraft Story Mode? Probably not. We'll definitely probably still be getting the Walking Dead series. That seems like that has entered the world's psyche long enough that it will be at least somewhat nichely remembered. But Jurassic Park the game isn't really remembered for anything other than being a terrible game. So I'd like the games that Telltale releases to be good games so we can say, let's go back in 5 years and play it. The Skyrim Special Edition is barely even a good excuse to play Skyrim again. And Skyrim by itself is barely an excuse to play itself again, because you need to put in all those mods. I saw an article that said this straight up, is that once you see that special edition, you get reminded, oh, we need all these mods to fix all the problems and all the things that are missing from the game by default. So yeah, I wish they'd take more time, and hopefully they will. I have no idea what they're going to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, though. Of all the Marvel properties Telltale could do, I would probably put them somewhere with Hulk, because then the Hulk's actions can be uncontrollable, and it could just be focused around Bruce Banner's and emotions and talking, because what is the Hulk but if not an emotional character? I would possibly maybe do Thor, because Thor hasn't really done too much about his romance that he's supposed to have with the Earth Woman. You could potentially do Black Widow, because she could outthink people. But when you start to think Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, all of them, they've all got so much action in their abilities and the thing that makes them interesting, that it's really difficult to imagine that happening in Telltale, even as QuickTime events or cutscenes, which is what almost certainly they're going to try to do. Next story we have. How long have we been going? Let's just finish this up, because I don't think I want to go for a third recording. I am starting to feel a little bit better, but so little to talk about here. Ubisoft has promised to support Rainbow Six Siege for a second year, which, okay, nice. Nice that your online-only, co-op-only game is getting at least 2 years of support, even though nobody's playing it really, except for a tiny amount of hardcore fans, and there's no storyline or anything interesting in it. If you don't remember what Rainbow Six Siege is, which is probably most people, it's literally cops versus robbers, except for the robbers are terrorists that go into I think 4 locations, and have a hostage or there's a bomb, and they try to barricade themselves in a room with several different items to enforce the walls and put down razor wire to slow down people and stuff like that. But ironically, when they barricade the walls and the doors, there's always a gap left where the other player can run these little drones around to watch what they're doing and find out what room they're in. And there's no way to really stop those drones except for seeing them and hitting them or shooting them when you see them. And then it's just like a timed challenge to see if the police can come in from the outside of a building into that one secured room and act as kind of a SWAT tactical attempt to
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
just keep just trying to take those guys out, and at the end the good guys win and the bad guys win. And I don't think there's too much more. There might be a level up system or something, and I think there are some different abilities
Just like you.
that happen. Even some different abilities on different characters.
So fun.
Really incomplete game, and since it's co-op only, that's a great example of a game that nobody's going to be able to play nor remember in 10 years. It is absolutely going to be lost to the sands of time, and I am perfectly fine with that, because honestly there's like, I have no desire to play games like that in the first place, and most people don't. Finally, Sega has handed Total War Arena to a new publishing thing I think that they own and they made, called Wargaming Alliance. It's a free-to-play Total War like real-time strategy game. I wonder if this is because Sega's just doing some corporate shifting, or I don't even know, 5. I'm gonna play 5 cards, then just concede. I don't know if this is just corporate shifting and they want it under a different thing, or if perhaps Sega is attempting to get its name off a product before it pushes it out and it shows itself to be the worst kind of free to play. It's just going to be completely full of,
You asked for it.
of like elements that you have to pay for. And that's my list. And there's something weird with my boogie board. There's this one spot when I scratch with the plastic stylus on my boogie board, which is my note board that has an electric eraser. It's kind of like a Etch-a-Sketch, but brought into the one thing. But with just an electric button, it erases it. So you got this plastic piece of stick that rubs the screen and registers things. But in one spot here, I have it's showing blue instead of green. And that is very weird, because that means there's probably something wrong with it, but I bet not enough that it really matters. Three there, and it's right along the edge. Oh wait, here's another one at the base. I'm coloring now, so almost perpendicular to it. there's another
Do you hear
blue
its
spot.
call? Listen closely.
I'm wondering if this is where I may have grabbed it too hard, or if this is just nothing. Let's see.
Someday I'll
4,
be just like you.
5. Let's play one more just so I'm certain. And there's another one in the top right corner. It's real small there. And there's another one in the lower right corner. I wonder if these were here all along and I simply never saw them because I never wrote in those sections.
Listen closely.
I'm sketching on this. This is really stupid to even be talking about this. I will fully admit that. Spend all your mana, deal that much damage to a minion. Alright, spell damage.
Let's make magic.
Let's see if that does 3. It does. There we go.
Job's done.
And we'll go ahead and concede. So I bet there's nothing I can do. I prefer if it was a blue ink versus a green ink anyways, but I would want consistent, you know. So since I have nothing to talk about, obviously, I'm going to leave the rest of this for me. No, not certain when that Mega Tavern Brawl thing is going to happen, but I have 1,000 to spend on that, and I have 5,000 to buy 50 packs of the new expansion when it comes out one night, or Welcome to Gadget Stand, or whatever it's called. Something Gadget Stand. That's still not even available for pre-order here. So I just am gonna play priest cards and do that by myself and try to get healthier and get back to recording Skyrim. And once I'm done with Skyrim, I will be glad and I can get back to something the way I was doing it. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can go to my main YouTube channel. On the right is the blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.